Welcome back to another episode of The Way of the High Priestess. Today, we are diving yet again into another Become the High Priestess call, where I am going to be showing you an activity that's going to help you communicate authentically and powerfully. So for this one, you're going to want to have a pen and paper handy or somewhere to take notes, because you're going to be writing down as I walk you through this activity as we uncover fears, needs, desires, and assumptions. This one is a really powerful one that I use in my personal life, in my relationships, and that I walk many of my clients through. So get ready to journal and reveal your heart so that you can become an even more powerful and authentic communicator.
So something I'll share with you ladies, because integrity is something that I have found is really important when it comes to how we show up in relationship. And when we're not in integrity, it's not always and it's rarely because we don't want to be. It is typically because there is a fear, there is a pattern, there is a bid for love or affection in a way that maybe doesn't actually feel in alignment with who we are as conscientious adult women. There are many reasons why we can act out of integrity. And I'm going to share a couple of just quick exercises that have really helped me understand what integrity looks like for me. And if you like these, take them with you. And if it doesn't feel like a fit, leave them. One of the things that's really helpful for me in any given situation that feels challenging is an activity that I call fears, needs, desires, assumptions. So basically, what I do, and Alana, would you mind just typing that in the chat? So I'll take a piece of paper and I'll split it into 4 columns. And with the scenario in mind, a specific scenario, in the first column, I'll write down all of my fears. So for Taylor, for example, maybe she's going on a date, she's new in a relationship or they're feeling each other out. She would list all of her fears. I call it emptying the vessel. Like whatever is there for you, get it onto paper. No one else has to see this. This is just for you. No fear is stupid or too small or ridiculous for you to list it. This might be before you have a challenging conversation with the partner. What are all your fears? Maybe it's about how they're going to respond or you getting angry and losing your shit. Whatever is there, get it out, because the more we can acknowledge and validate what is really a part of our experience beyond what we think should be a part of our experience, then it allows us to see ourselves in truth. So fears is the first column, and then needs. So in this given scenario, what do you need? And this sometimes trips people up because I've been asked many times what I need and I have no fucking clue what I need in that moment. Like it really takes me a moment to think about it. So this is a really good exercise in becoming aware of your needs in any given moment, in any given scenario. So writing down all of your needs. Do you need open communication? Do you need words of affirmation? Do you need, whatever it is, fears, needs, and then desires. So once all of your core needs are met, what do you desire? And if we're using a relational example like Taylor's, for instance, once her core needs are met for honest communication and, physical touch, for example, what are her desires? What does she desire to create in that scenario? Does she desire to create intimacy in the face of feeling scared that this could go awry? Does she desire to really push her own limits when it comes to not escaping the scenario early on? So, what are all the desires there? And then the last one is assumptions. This one can be a little tricky, but once you get practice with naming your own assumptions, you really deepen a level of awareness within yourself. And assumptions are things you think you have the answers to, but you haven't asked the question. So maybe I'm just using a random hypothetical example and Taylor as the example. So maybe Taylor's early in a dating scenario and she sees herself approaching that pattern where she's like, all right, I got to get the hell out of here, you know, It could potentially be because there's an assumption that maybe he's not interested. And so there's an assumption he's not interested. Or, he's not interested because I haven't heard back from him in 3 days and I sent him a text 3 days ago. Whatever it might be, there's nothing too big or too small for any of these columns. What we want to do in this activity is really see what's there and let everything that's there be okay to be there. There's nothing stupid or crazy or I can't believe I'm doing this again for this activity. And this particular activity really helps create and can help create integrity because one, you're seeing what's there, and then you can go forth and act with whatever feels in alignment for you. Because if you know what your fears are, then you can have an honest conversation about them if you choose to. If you know what your needs are, you can be in integrity with making a request for your needs to be met because you've already considered what you need in that situation. Is that making sense to everyone? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, cool. Just a little impromptu act, activity that you can do on your own. Okay, amazing. Um, so before we jump into the content today, I want to just guide us through a meditation to change states between, being in the space of academic and looking at an activity and reflecting and setting the intention to shift gears into a more sensual space.